Welcome back to another episode of the Thrive in 5 podcast. I hope you are doing okay and are having a fab day so far. So today I want to cover off a question that I get asked literally all the time whenever I am like in a taxi or in the hairdressers or anywhere, and someone asks me like, what do you do for a living? And I explain, I'm an online coach and I help professional women to lose weight. The question I would get asked more than anything is like, yeah, but what do you need to do to lose weight? Like what do you actually need to do? And the short answer always is, like, the rules of physics apply. You need to eat less and move more. You need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to get that law of energy balance in place so that you are using more energy than you are consuming, and your body will use body fat as fuel. That's the very, very simple answer of what you need to do. But how you achieve that, that's where my job comes in. Anyone can say eat less and move more. But how you achieve that, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is really bespoke and very much depends on you, your body, your goals, your lifestyle, your values. And what I'm going to do today is chat you through two very different examples of how you might achieve fat loss from within the TFP. These are two different clients that this is actually like what we've set them up with this week, like what they are doing this week in order to lose weight. So we have client A and client B. I'm not using their names because, confidentiality. So client A has a really, really busy job, but has a lifestyle that allows her to be a little bit more flexible in reality. She doesn't have a partner. She is relatively senior within her organisation, so has quite a lot of control over her time, over her diary. So the way that we've set her up is, from a food perspective, she has 4 lower calorie days and 3 higher calorie days. She likes to have some flexibility to eat a little bit more over the weekends, have a glass of wine at the weekends, to maybe, have a little coffee day out, something like that. She's not a big fan of big blowout meals. She's not somebody who, likes going out for really big meals, doesn't tend to do that, but she does tend to want to go out for a cake with friends or, go out for a few drinks. And so structuring her food this way works really nicely for her. From a work perspective and from a kind of routine perspective, she works from home twice a week. So the way that we've set her up is the 3 days that she is in the office, she has no workouts to do. She doesn't need to go to the gym. She doesn't need to do anything like that. But on the days she works from home, she can go to the gym after work. So she has 2 full body workouts to do a week that she can kind of do on those days she works from home. They vary the day she works from home depending on her week, so she can move those around. She is somebody who is naturally quite active, and I think this is really important. She is somebody who has a dog and lives in a very walkable area, and when she does commute into the office, she will walk for a lot of that commute, so she will comfortably hit 12,000 steps a day. And we've upped that since she started with me. When she first started, she was doing 9 or 10, so we upped it ever so slightly to 12. Basically, her dog's just getting fitter. That's basically been the output. And this is because she is somebody who, she thrives on having a bit more flexibility. She thrives on her weekends don't look that different to her week. And so for her, the real priority and the thing that we really thought about in setting up her program was actually making sure that exercise and calorie tracking and all of that didn't look that different day to day, and that she could be a little more flexible and focus more on movement through the week, making her social life fit within her overall approach to fat loss. Client B has a very, very different approach. So client A tracks her calories all the time. Client A tracks her calories during the working week, she tracks them at the weekend. Client B has a very different approach. So client B has 5 tracked days a week and 2 flexi days. Client B works the sort of job that she's in the office 5 days a week, which is quite unusual these days, but she is in the office 5 days a week, and she has 2 days off, obviously at home at the weekends. So for her, actually being more structured during the working week works better. She prefers to have lower calories during the working week. She prefers to track her food during the working week, keep things quite consistent day to day. To be honest, she doesn't have wildly different food during the week. She will keep her breakfasts all look the same. Her lunches, she will batch cook 2 different options and then rotate them. For dinners, she will have quite similar things or things from the freezer. She's quite kind of structured with that because of how busy her job is during the week. But being more structured during the week allows her to have 2 what we call flexi days at the weekend. So a flexi day is where she tracks her calories up until her evening meal and then up until a meal, and then takes the rest of the day untracked. That means that she can go out for fancy meals. She's a big Michelin star foodie. girl, so she loves going out and like tasting delicious food, trying new things. She's a big fan of like wine tasting and things like that. So being able to have the flexibility to eat out at places where tracking the calories just isn't possible. You can track meals where they haven't got calories on the menu, but trying to track like a tasting menu is absolutely impossible and not worth it. And because she's somebody who really enjoys that, we wanted to set her up with a system that allowed her to have those meals. And to do that, the flip side of that is that she has slightly more structure and rigidity during the week, slightly lower calories during the week, in order to give her the flexibility to eat out at the weekends. I mentioned as well that she has her very kind of structured desk job where she is in the office 5 days a week, and she drives to work. So her activity compared to client A is a lot lower. When she first started working with me, she was probably doing 3,000 or 4,000 steps a day. We have managed to up that to around 8 by being quite creative with how we get those steps in. So we do things like she gets into work kind of 10 minutes earlier and goes for a quick walk around the block before she goes into the office. She has started taking a 10 or 15 minute walk at lunchtime just to pop out and get some fresh air. And she's actually started getting her team to do a similar thing as well. And she's also invested in a walking pad, which is like a little, if you haven't seen them, it's like a little treadmill without all the frame around it, that she uses to top up her steps where she needs to if she's not been able to do her steps. Occasionally when she gets home and she's like replying to messages or something, she'll hop on the walking pad. And that's got her up to kind of 8k steps daily. And then from a workout perspective, she does things quite differently to the way that client A does it. She does one big gym workout on a Saturday. So she goes to the gym at a weekend and does one kind of big gym workout where she really focuses on hitting kind of core lifts. She loves the gym, but just does not have the opportunity really in the week to go. She probably could if she wanted to, but to be honest, sleep and being able to get into the office without having to shower there and all of that sort of stuff is more important. So she does one big gym workout on a Saturday and one shorter home workout in the morning during the week. That shorter home workout is still weighted. We use resistance training. She's still doing all the stuff that she would do if she's in the gym, but she's doing it with dumbbells and bands, and it's slightly shorter and a chance to get her moving, get her awake. She then also does a spin class for fun and variety at some point during the week as well. She does that as more of a social thing. It's a chance to get her body moving. We know that, and I could do a whole other episode on this at some point, that classes aren't the way that you change your body. They're not the way you lose weight. They're not the way that you make the changes you want from a physical perspective, and they're not the best thing when it comes to workouts, but they're fun. I do a spin class, this client does a spin class, she loves it. So for client B, the real focus is actually, she has much less freedom and much less flexibility than client A. Client A has much more control of her diary and therefore can be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more free with how she sets things up. Client B has less flexibility from a work perspective. So the compromises she has to make maybe look slightly different, but she can make up for the fact she's got limited steps by using a walking pad. She can structure her workouts in such a way that she still gets done what she needs to. She just has to leverage her weekends for that. And she manages her calories in such a way that she structures herself more during the working week to allow for more flexibility at the weekends. Something that I say a lot to clients is we don't have to earn our food, but we do earn the right to be flexible. And client A earns the right to flexibility by being more active. She can be more flexible with her food because her steps comfortably hit 12,000. In fact, most days she's pretty much, on most weeks she's pretty much on average above 12,000. I think most weeks she averages around 15,000. She'll often do more at the weekend. So she earns the right to be flexible by being more active. Client B earns the right to be more flexible by being more structured and lower with her calories during the week. Both have a tailored approach. Both have tailored that approach to suit their lifestyle, their preferences, and their goals, but they just approach it very differently. Both are successfully making progress towards their fat loss goals though. Both have lost body fat this week, but they've done so by focusing on what they have available to them. They don't look at what time they don't have, they look at the time they do have and work with that. And both have done so in such a way where they don't compare themselves to others. They're not sitting there going, well, so-and-so can do this, because ultimately I don't care what so-and-so can do, I care what you can do. The right way to lose weight is the one that aligns with your life, your goals, your preferences, and the time that you have available. So You may have to experiment and find a routine that works for you. You may not be able to do either what client A or client B do. And if you want to chat through how you might approach this, please put me a message and we can always have a chat. But being consistent isn't about doing what everyone else does. It's about doing what works for you and what you can stick to. So have a think. How could you adapt your weekly structure? And obviously, if you have any questions, I want to chat any of it through, as I say, please drop me a message. I hope you found that episode useful though, and I look forward to chatting to you next time.